Southeastern service to Dartford via Bexley Heath. The next train to depart from platform 3 will be the 0757 Southeastern service to Orpington, calling at Waterloo East, London Bridge and Orpington. This train has 12 coaches. Platform 3 for the 0757 Southeastern service to Orpington.
应该是这样子，是属于跑过去那个。
54 Southeastern service to Dartford via Bexley Heath. The next train to depart from platform 3 will be the 0757 Southeastern service to Orpington, calling at Waterloo East, London Bridge and Orpington. This train has 12 coaches. Platform 3 for the 0757 Southeastern service to Orpington.
应该是这样子，是属于跑过去那个。
The next train to depart from platform 1 will be the 0912 Southeastern service to Dartford, calling at Waterloo East, London Bridge, Lewisham and Dartford. This train has 10 coaches. Platform 1 for the 0912 Southeastern service to Dartford. This train will not be called at Blackheath, Charlton, Woolwich Dockyard, Woolwich Arsenal, Plumstead, Abbeywood, Belvedere, Erith and Slade Green today. This is due to a broken down train earlier today. The next train to depart from platform 3 will be the 0918 Southeastern service to Gravesend via Sidcup, calling at Waterloo East, London Bridge, Hither Green, Lee, Mottingham, New Elton, Sidcup, Albany Park, Bexley, Brentford, Dartford, Stone Crossing, Greenhithe, Swanston, Northfleet and Gravesend. This train has 10 coaches. Platform 3 for the 0918 Southeastern service to Gravesend via Sidcup. This train does not convey any toilet facilities.
Our station staff are here to help you with your journey and any questions you may have. Please respect all our staff. No one should have to tolerate threatening or abusive behaviour whilst doing their job. Let's work together to keep everyone safe.
London Bridge, Orpington, Sutherland, Londonborough, Tonbridge, Highfields, and Tunbridge Wells. This train has 10 coaches. Platform 6 for the 0930 South Eastern service to Tunbridge Wells via Sutherland.
Church people are coming today. Should have went on Wednesday. I mean Tuesday. Tuesday they came. I don't know about Thursday today. Maybe they won't. They won't. Come back and check later. Bring something nice. Maybe they bring something good. I have to wait until 2 p.m. Fucking cold, huh? I noticed on this laptop is that all the drivers for some of the things on the laptop are from 2006. Why the hell does this laptop, which is only 4 years old or something, or 3 years old, 5 years old max, no, 4, let's go with 4. Why does this laptop have drivers from 2006? I don't know, but it does. So something to consider. It's I've been going through it and updating some of them to see if it makes a difference. It really doesn't. It's some of the keys on the keyboard still don't work. G and H, Windows key doesn't work. So I'm not sure. Why the hell it has drivers from 2006? I don't know, but it's very suspicious. There's nothing from 2006 on that laptop as far as hardware. And there's nothing in the laptop as far as hardware that's from 2006. But it has drivers from 2006. So, like I said, it's very suspicious. It's extremely suspicious that it does. I've been updating some of them, but like I said, some of them are very hard to find. Some of these drivers are very hard to find. Even in the Windows catalog of updates, they're very hard to find. Because the driver file name is different than the name of the driver. And because somebody was smart and they said, I'm going to have a file name that doesn't even correspond with the name of the fucking driver. Because that way nobody can fucking find it. Yeah, so yeah, that's one issue that I noticed with this laptop, drivers from 2006. Why? I don't know. But, you know, it charges, it works fine. Keyboard, you know, with the exception of 5 keys or something. Probably 6 keys. It doesn't work. Everything else works. You know, it starts up now. It's fine. You know, it's pretty, you know, all things considering, it's actually been very reliable. You know, I dropped it, I slept on it, I had it all these years. All things considering, you know, it's been reliable. Or, you know, obviously, we'll probably have the same issues with another laptop. With the keyboard not working, or, you know, considering I've been sleeping on it, I even dropped it once. It's been pretty stout. It's been pretty stout and very reliable. All things considering, you know, for 400 pounds, for 2440, I think it was 440. Because I had this cheap 13-inch laptop that didn't have a BIOS update, and they got to it and they fucked it all up. So I had to get rid of that because of the USB ports. The USB transfer rate on the USB ports was horrible, like 16, 15 megs or something. Instead of the usual 70 megs, 35, you know, megs. So there wasn't a BIOS update for that laptop, and I got rid of it. And got this one for 440. Not a bad deal, you know. All things considering all the fucking hacking and shit, it's been pretty good. You know, it's been pretty reliable product, despite all the issues. You know, it's not that many issues. It's just the keyboard. The keyboard and the rest of it is fine. And it's, you know, the USB ports all work still, surprisingly. And that's the only major issue that I have is the keyboard. And, you know, I haven't really opened it up to take out the keyboard and see what's going on. If there's anything I can do, should I put in the, if it has a ribbon cable, can I reverse it and maybe reset it? It's okay, you know, all things considering. It's been a very reliable, despite all the shit that's been happening, it's been a very reliable product. Now, granted, like I said, the issue was Windows. You know, more than anything, the issue was Windows, because they seem to, I mean, I know I heard it a couple of times when I went to sleep. You know, because I can hear it if it's on. I think more than anything was the remote control that Windows gave them to this laptop until I got rid of it and started using a custom version of Windows that didn't have any of the bloatware in it. So, you know, that's if anything, that's probably what ruined this laptop and the keyboard. Windows. You know, the fact that I was running Windows, they got to it. They got into the laptop remotely through Windows and fucked it all up. So, maybe if I would have had this Spectre Ghost version, which is supposed to be a custom gaming version, on it from the beginning, it would have fared better. Who knows? Maybe I would have had less issues. But you definitely don't want stock Windows. It's severely backdoored. Any kind of stock Windows from the Microsoft website, It's got some huge back doors where, you know, they can turn on your laptop remotely and hack into it remotely, you know, through the Wi-Fi. You know, that's how bad it is. I wouldn't, you know, like I said, it's, and, you know, I downloaded and, you know, downloaded the ISO image from the Microsoft website so many times, and every time it was not very, very good. You know, it's, you know, like I said, it's pretty obvious. You know, pretty obvious. But like I said, all things considering all the hacking, everything still works more or less. The only big issue that I have now is the keyboard. And I haven't taken out the motherboard to look at the connector, or to, you know, put it in reverse to see what it does. And I'm trying that. Hopefully it doesn't fry it. I'll just plug it in, flip the power on and off and see what happens on the keyboard. But, you know, occasionally, I think it was a while ago, the G and the H keys were working. It's just that it was lagging. So I would press them, hold them down, and eventually would type G and H. Those are the keys that are missing. But it would type them slow, like there's some kind of hang up. So, like I said, I already switched the keyboard driver. It doesn't do anything. You know, if you switch the keyboard driver and the BIOS, it's a hardware problem. You know, it's a hardware problem. If you switch the keyboard driver in the BIOS and you still have the issue, it's a hardware issue. You have a firmware issue with the keyboard itself, or, you know, short. Maybe they shorted out the keys. Maybe they shorted out the keys. But like I said, you know, a lot of the proven stuff is being phased out for this hardware that has vulnerabilities. So a lot of the reliable ways of doing things are being phased out in favor of doing things in a newer way that is more vulnerable to attack. Yeah. So whereas before they would have never been able to do anything with any keyboard. You know, whereas before they would have never been able to do to hack into a, you know, physically hack into a keyboard, they can do that now. Now it's possible, because what you notice with a lot of these phones and laptops and any kind of electronics that have an operating system is that they're phasing out the proven way of doing things that is reliable, and they're doing new stuff that is vulnerable to attack and hacking on purpose. And it's on purpose for the sake of the framing program. You know, it gives the hominid a job. You know, so whereas on older laptops that has a similar keyboard, you know, you would have never been able to short it out, or, you know, obviously without being physically, you know, visually shorted to, you know, to be able to tell, they would have never been able to do that. Whereas these newer style laptops, even though the keyboard takes the same physical amount of space, obviously, they are more vulnerable to hacking. And it's on purpose. You know, it's on purpose for the sake of the framing program. It gives the saboteur hominid something to do. You know, something to do, I guess. You know, what else is there to do besides sabotage a keyboard or a BIOS? So that's okay. I mean, like I said, it's all things considering. All the USB ports work. There's only 4 keys on the keyboard that don't work, or something like that. It's fine. You know, 4 or 5 keys or something, and it's okay. You know, it's not bad. You know, it's usable. It's been reliable. You know, I used it. I got my money's worth out of it. I'm satisfied with it. It's fine. You know? If you notice, a lot of laptops these days don't even have a socket. You know, a lot of laptops these days don't even have a socket processor, where you have a socket in a processor that you can upgrade or change out. That's another thing they started doing. They started doing processor on motherboard. You know, you can forget about your socket, even though it doesn't take much space. You know, because the socket is a proven way of doing things. So to give you some headache, in case you do have a problem with the processor, you know, they decided to solder the processor directly on the motherboard and get rid of the socket, even though it takes the same amount of space, more or less. Well, I mean, what do you lose by, you know, soldering the processor on the motherboard? A millimeter. You know, a millimeter. It's a meager difference, right, between a socket and a you know, motherboard processor soldered on the motherboard. It's a millimeter of difference. But you see, they do this on purpose because they're assholes. You know, that's one example. It's an asshole that does this. And there's no need to solder the fucking processor into the motherboard. Just put a socket, like, you know, you did before. It's fine. It takes a little bit more space. A millimeter of difference isn't going to kill anybody. Yeah? But you see, they're assholes. They do it on purpose. not going to rain today. Which is good. Yeah, this one is that kind of laptop. The processor is soldered in place. There's no socket for the processor on this laptop. Now it's, you know, it's not likely that you're going to have an issue with the processor, but you know, if you do, you need a heat gun, you need flux, you need some technical skill to take that, you know, take out the processor and then solder in another one. And it's completely unnecessary. You know, you're not to. It doesn't make any. You know, I don't even think they have additional cost from you know, putting in a socket. You know, I don't think there's much cost at all. Yeah, but they're assholes. They do it on purpose. Anyway, let's go ahead and holy shit, they're gonna scaffold the entire building, son. Get a bottle. Get this one over here. This guy has a lot of money. Let's make sure that they don't have any more money in the future to be doing stupid building projects around London or any city in the world. So they seem to have a lot of money at their disposal to do stupid building projects. Yeah, let's take this bottle. Let's push it. I'll get up around 1:30. One of these brave souls came over here and kicked the bucket. So we're back to square one with, square one as far as back to square one as far as pleasantries. Let's go ahead and upload some stuff. Well, at least it's not cold. They got the scaffold, but it's not even all the way. They actually even blocked their entrance because I got couldn't deliver his stuff. The scaffold is not it's not supposed to get to the other entrance of the building, which is where I get into that fence, which is how I get in behind that fence. So what they're trying to do is block access to that sidewalk before the scaffold is. But that's the reality of the situation. It's a fire exit. They kept reminding me about fire exits a few years ago, and that entrance, the entrance to that fence and that doorway is where the fire exit is. So what they're trying to do is block the sidewalk before the door, not after. You can take two. Let's do that. the showrunners, they keep YouTuber critics. The critics on YouTube keep criticizing the showrunners for the Rings of Power. It's the same reason why you have the reason why the Rings of Power is misrepresenting misrepresenting Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings is because the same reason why white people, are forced out of South Africa and South America and America and Canada and New Zealand and Australia. That's the reason why. It's the same reason why you have black elves, or you have black hobbits, or you have misrepresentation of the original. It's because of the same reason why white people are forced out of countries around the world. So if white people are forced out of countries around the world, especially South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and America, not to mention South America, then obviously you're going to have blacks as misrepresenting, elves and dwarves and the Rings of Power and Tolkien. So it's the reason why you have them these days. It's because white people, for the most part, are being asked to leave large areas of the world, large countries, the entire continent. Australia is no longer feasible right now for white people. America is no longer feasible for white people. As a result, you're going to have a misrepresentation of Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. Because white people are being pushed out of certain countries, especially America these days. I mean, it's a full 360 from desegregation in 60 years. To have someone who was being, chased down by German shepherds and water hose in the street tell white people to fuck off. It's a full 360. Why does that happen? Because white people, when asked to leave, they leave. That's the reason why that happens. It's not white people, guys. Understand? It's not white people. White people, for the most part, when they are asked to leave and piss off, they piss off and leave. South Africa, America is next. Canada is next. Understand? America, from the desegregation 60 years ago up to today, did a full 360, and it went from blacks being chased in the street by German shepherds and water hosed by fire hydrants and firefighters to now white people pissing off and leaving America, or not saying anything when black people go out there and say fuck whitey. It's a full 360, and it's the reason why. It's the reason why you have a misrepresentation of Tolkien and Lord of the Rings, etc., etc. And it's full. It's going to go into Star Wars more, and it's going to go into the any other TV shows that they make or remake. Because believe it or not, when white people are asked to leave, they leave and they piss off. Exactly what the elves would have done. Understand? There was no second or third age. See? That's the reason why you have that happening in Hollywood, and it's going to continue, and it's going to go to spread to other shows, and they're going to do more remakes. There are going to be misrepresentations of the originals, because that's what they do. Understand? It's a symptom of a bigger problem. White people who are asked to leave. If white people are asked to leave, and America did a full 360 in 60 years since desegregation, and now white people are the target, the show will reflect that, and it does. The shows that you watch on TV will reflect the full turnaround that America did in 60 years since desegregation, and it shows. It shows in the TV shows. It shows in entertainment. Until it gets to the point where it doesn't have any more value because it's so fucking generic. It's to the point where your Academy Award doesn't have any more value because it's so fucking generic. Your Academy Award is worthless now because it's based on a remake of another remake and an original that had white people in it, and your fucking remake is fake. And your Academy Award is shit now. It's a generic award for a generic show. You see, it's, the Rings of Power and all the other shows that they will make in the future will represent the change, permanent, as I said, because this Soviet pride flag becomes permanent in those areas. It will reflect the permanent change in the landscape of America. You understand? Just like in South Africa. And in the end, the shows will be entirely worthless, and your Academy Awards will be worthless and generic, just like the shows are. Understand? That's where this is going. It's the reason why, the reason why you have that situation with these TV shows is because it reflects the changing landscape of America, which will be permanent. Just like in South Africa, it will be permanent. Because when white people are asked to leave, they leave. That's the reason why. You know why? Because it was never really white people, was it? It was never really white people to begin with, was it? See? That's the reason why you have that in Lord of the Rings and all the other TV shows that will follow. And movies, not to mention movies. Forget about the TV shows, big budget movies. You're going to be seeing that over and over and over again, and it's just going to become a generic a generic entertainment industry that doesn't have any value whatsoever. Yeah, and your awards and everything else that comes out of it will be worthless. Yeah, that's that'll be the end of Hollywood. The rest of the world, by the way, so we understand, so we understand how the rest of the world does. The rest of the world, with the exception of India, does not have any Hollywood. You know why? Because their entertainment is worthless. Because it is more or less based on race. That's why people watch Hollywood shit, because it's a talent thing, right? It's someone who's talented at acting. Yeah, it's white people. And the rest of the world doesn't have any Hollywood because it's worthless. You know why the rest of the world doesn't have Hollywood? Because it's brown. Understand, it's a business that was created to put nice white-looking people on TV. That was its original intent. That's what sold movie tickets. White people sold movie tickets. The rest of the world does not have Hollywood because it is brown. All 8 billion, 8 billion around the world are brown, and that's the reason they don't have Hollywood, because it's worthless. Otherwise, you would have, Hollywood in Africa. You would have Hollywood in China. I mean, they have some of it. You would have Hollywood in South America. You would have Hollywood all around the world, South America and Africa included, but you don't, because it is brown. And when it's brown, it becomes worthless. Worthless fucking generic entertainment that nobody wants to fucking watch. And that's the reason why the rest of the world does not have Hollywood, guys. It doesn't make any money. It doesn't make any money if you had a Hollywood in Africa. It doesn't make any money if you had Hollywood in South America, because it is brown. And it's, like I said, it was never white people's fault. White people, when they are asked to leave, they leave. They don't sit around and get arrested. They don't sit around and get asked by the police to leave. When white people are asked to leave, they mostly, 99% of the time, leave. That's the reason why the TV shows are sucking, guys. Huh? And it's going to get worse. The Rings of Power is the future of every TV show and movie, until it becomes a generic, worthless entertainment that doesn't have any value whatsoever. That's why Hollywood isn't in the rest of the world, because it is brown. Yesterday, 2 lousy meals, 3 pieces of chicken, 4 pieces of chicken, and the swap isn't bringing anything worthwhile.
My help.
nice day today. I don't think it's today. I think it's
Tiny rebel away.
I think it was just Tuesday. And not on Thursday. Yeah, what? Let's go check it out. Like I said, I don't think it's Thursday only. It was only this past Tuesday. Yeah, it's not the day. I think they had it Tuesday and that was it. Gotta go back until, gotta go back up there and come back around 7 or 6:30, which is a few hours away. Solar today.
Show anyone?
Come back around 6 because it's 6:30 or so. Because it's there's nothing to do out here.
One of the
Queen Elizabeth showed up. Let's go ahead and go to sleep. I'll come back around 6:30. There's nothing out here right now. My knees are hurting from these shoes.
Even the other night.
Came out right on time. Alright, let's see. Now we gotta look at JJ again. Who is the Prussian Prince of Darkness. That's what everybody says. And Halbrand. Halbrand is JJ. The other guy from Numenor is JJ as well. Isildur, the father of Isildur is JJ as well. Like I said, it's based loosely on Ludwig, Stalin. Usually Stalin if it's more Jewish and Asian. It's usually Stalin, Ludwig, stuff like that. So I gotta get some more JJs in there. So there's at least 2 of them in Rings of Power. Come back around 6 because it's nothing going on over there. Yeah, I think they only came on Tuesday. Only came on Tuesday, not Thursday. Like I said, if you're feeling talented and you have the imagination, go in Africa. Anywhere in Africa is very big. And start Hollywood. Literally, you can get yourself a group of friends from New York, hop on over to Africa with some cell phones, and if you have the imagination in your hominid brain to act and to shoot movies, you can create Hollywood in Africa if you're feeling creative. Understand? But you don't have the imagination to create Hollywood in Africa, and you don't have the imagination to create Hollywood in South America. Yeah, you have none of that. White people do. You know, that's why, for the most part, Hollywood is successful in America, in the West. Because whites have the talent and the imagination to create Hollywood. Granted, it's Jewish. And even when it's Jewish, it's still largely successful. But if you are brown and you're feeling creative and you got the imagination for it, you can grab a couple of your friends, hop on over to Africa with some cell phones and start shooting a fucking movie. But you don't have the imagination to do that and to create Hollywood in Africa or South America or any place that's brown. You know why? You know why? Because you're an incapable piece of shit. That's why. You know, that's the reality of the situation. Unfortunately for you, nobody's created equal, and you lack the fucking imagination and the creativity to create Hollywood in Africa or South America. Because you're a stupid piece of shit, that's why. Yeah, it makes perfect sense now as to why Hollywood does not exist anywhere outside America. Because you got a hominid fucking brain in your skull that needs to be shot out. Yeah, that's the reason why, guy. I mean, if you're feeling creative and brave as fuck right now, you can grab your friends, hop on over to Africa with some cell phones and start shooting a fucking movie. Yeah. You can put it on YouTube right now. Become famous. No one's, I mean, there's definitely nobody holding you back like me, where I still only have 200 followers on Twitter, right? You should have plenty on YouTube, right? But you lack the capacity, you lack the imagination and the creativity to create Hollywood in Africa or South America. Yeah? That's the reason why. That's what's holding you back. It's your own hominid fucking brain. That's why you stole that bag. Yeah, that's what's holding you back. Isn't it? At the end of the day, isn't it? It is. It is. That's why you stole the bag. You know, that's the reality of this crew. What you have in your brains collectively is horse manure. That's why you stole the bag. What you have in your brains collectively, your collective intellectual capacity is made up of horse manure. Yeah, that's how useless your brains are when you're this crew with the bag. What you have in your fucking brain is horse manure. Nothing more, nothing less. You lack the imagination and the creativity to create anything outside of Hollywood. And that's why he stole the bag. Yeah, it's very simple. You know, become more numerous, reserve the right to be racist, and then steal a bag. How simple is that? It should be very simple, right? It is. Become more numerous, especially in America. Pretend you're 14% or pretend you're 6%, like the Jews. Become vastly more numerous, and then steal a bag. Do something bright and smart. Yeah. You know, like I said, normally I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't really bat an eye, especially in America, because America fell off the face of the planet in the last 60 years. And this hominid became so numerous and so vast in resources that it's pointless to say anything. It's pointless to do anything. It's a slow decline, you know, just like I said about the Rings of Power and the Southlanders. It's a slow decline into permanent darkness, literally and figuratively. Yeah, that's what America represents, a slow decline into an eternal darkness, literally and figuratively. Yeah? You know, that's what America represents right now, just like South Africa. Yeah, normally I wouldn't say anything. There's really no point in saying anything, believe it or not. If you are a white Republican in America right now, I regret to inform you that your time has passed. Your time has passed in America, and there's really not much that you can say or do to change that. And even if you are a white Republican, you're stupid enough to be involved as well. See? It makes no difference, guys. You know, it's a destiny that got started in that way. It's a destiny that was preset from darkness, and you will descend into darkness figuratively and literally. And if you're a white Republican, you are stupid enough to be involved as well. See, there's nothing that you can do or say to change your faith in America or South Africa or South America. Just like those stupid fucking Southlanders hiding the hilt or the ring, you are destined for darkness, even if you are a white Republican, because you are stupid enough to be involved. Understand? It makes no difference, guy. Like I said, normally I wouldn't say these things. I wouldn't be so harsh in my critique. But I say it because someone stole something. Someone somewhere who became numerous enough and bright enough is holding something and is holding it against me. That's why we say these things. Normally I wouldn't say them because it doesn't make any difference. Because it's not going to change anything. Normally I wouldn't say these things, yeah? Because it's not going to change anything. It's not going to make a difference. But we're saying it because someone stole something, yeah? It's actually very nice today, very warm. Another infamous dickhead. So many to see around here. Fill the whole city with them. That's what they did a delivery and they left. Slippery, like it's got snake oil in there or some shit. Oh, look at what this guy put in here. My fucking gosh. Absolutely filled it, huh? Looks like fucking dried up ice cream. Don't it? Yeah, it really does. Luckily, it's always pooling together like that, so... Yeah, there's more down there. More down in the front of the chute. Yeah, this is a flash brand new July patch, and there's no mobile data. It doesn't say there's no SIM card. So mobile data, SIM card not inserted. There's definitely a SIM card in there. It says there's no SIM card. So the SIM card slot. Now remember, the SD card, when you go into the recovery, it says that SIM card slot select error, whatever that means, slot select error. So this was doing this before I even put in any commands. There's no SIM card in there. There's supposed to be a SIM card in there. I already reset the network settings. It doesn't do anything. And SIM card manager. So this is the July patch, downgraded from October. Let me check it out. And it says that July. It says that there's no SIM card. This was normally you have mobile data right after the flash. You get mobile data right away. It starts right away. That way you can download updates when you set up the phone. But this didn't do that because this software, whenever this Soviet got into the bag, he pulled that. That's why it only charges at 4.366 volts at 100%. It's supposed to be 4.386, 87, or 88, even 89. So what I think happened is that this bright flag got into the bag and he replaced the AP files that I have stored on the flash drive because they're all on this Patriot drive. So what I think happened is that the Soviet bright flag pulled the bag out, took the flash drive, and replaced all the firmware that I saved on this drive. That's why it doesn't connect to the mobile data right now. Now Wi-Fi works. That works fine, but this doesn't work. I already flashed the CP. This has the CP version that it's supposed to have, and the provider software that it's supposed to have, and it's not doing anything. So that's what happened. They got into the bag. They pulled out that flash drive from my bag. It's in the laptop bag. I keep it in the backpack, in the laptop bag. They pulled out the flash drive and they replaced the software that I have on the flash drive. Now this one says there's no software updates. We'll do a software update right now. Connect to the Wi-Fi. Or you take a screenshot of it. Go ahead. And it'll say that there's no software. This is from July. It's supposed to download something. Now it's supposed to download something from somewhere. And it says there's no software update at all. This is from July. Yeah, something is wrong. So what I think happened, like I said, they probably replaced the firmware that I keep in my bag. It says there's no SIM. Yeah, this is the SIM card here. That's the SIM card. I can move the slot, it doesn't make a difference. And nothing happens. There's no mobile data. Insert SIM card. So what I noticed is that interesting. This O2 SIM card works just fine. Let's go ahead and remove it one time. Plug it back in. No SIM card, okay? So now it says no SIM card because I just unplugged it. Let's plug it back in. Okay, it says it's O2. I know it's O2. Very good. Mobile data usage, mobile data. It doesn't have data because I didn't pay it. But this one works, so I just plugged it back in. And the Vodafone one, they turned off themselves when I reset the phone. Trying to make it look like it's the firmware. It's not the firmware, stupid fuck. It's you hacking these phones. And it's you that turned off the fucking SIM card, obviously, because apparently you're not doing phone hacking for the training program. Who the fuck else you would be? It's obviously not the phone. Alright, let's go ahead and go down there. See what they bring. So the Vodafone SIM is in here, so it recognizes the EE SIM just fine. And the Vodafone SIM is in there, but the Vodafone SIM is not recognized at all. So it's completely blank. Now let's open it up. Yeah, Vodafone SIM is right there. Let's switch it around because we know that the EE SIM works, right? So let's put this one in the slot that works. Maybe it's the slot, right? But it's not the slot. So yeah, this is taking longer than expected because so that's the SIM in the other slot where the EE card was working, and it's going to say no SIM. Okay. It's not going to say anything. So there's no SIM, that's what it says. So this SIM was turned off by them. They did it remotely. Or it might have had something to do with, because the only thing that I did was reset the phone. But they're the ones that turned it off. It doesn't work in either phone. So SIM card manager. So the eSIM works, and this the one now I can't log into any accounts because I got logged out, right? And I also noticed that they changed the password on Google just now. So the password that I have for Google no longer works. It's you know, the password itself has been changed on Google. So now, does it matter? Not necessarily, because you can make other accounts, which is obviously what I'm going to do. But it's and I got a message. Like I said, I got a message from Vodafone this afternoon. Literally before I reset the phone, I got a message from them, right? So, you know, the SIM card was turned off by them after the reset, after I did the reset on the phone to make it look like it's the phone. It's not the phone. The phone has nothing to do with it. So, like I said, it's you know, a sure way to prove that they're not hacking the phones, or that they're not using mobile networks for their framing program, and they are. You know, of course they are. Of course they would be doing that. Does it give them an advantage? Yeah, it does. So obviously they're going to be doing that, right? So you see, the Vodafone SIM does not work, whereas the eSIM works fine. Yeah, all the other ones work fine, except the Vodafone SIM. So, you know, it's so it only picks up the eSIM. That's it. Now I got to make more accounts. I got to put all the GIF updates on the other accounts that I'm about to make, and I'm going to use the O2 SIM that I've had for the last 3 years or so to do that, because there's no and this still had data on it, by the way. This Vodafone SIM still had data on it. Another month or so, I think it was. Yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and go down there.